NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. It is Monday. We have 7 games here on the DraftKings main slate. We are getting closer and closer to the end of the NBA regular season. We're going to continue to bring preview shows and live shows here throughout the duration of the season. Just talking Grande here, some crazy numbers put up on the Sunday slate. Zachariah Richeche, 36 actual points in that game. Trae Young nearly had a 20-20 double-double. Some big performances overall, some big performances from some value plays because, well, we're in that part of the season here as well. And we're going to continue to have to deal with those types of situations as we move along. Grande, big slate here, 7 games, some big names. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jason Tatum, though, are the only 2 up over $10,000 on this main slate. What do you think we should be looking into here, given the teams and the matchups that we're looking at?
I mean, it's just TBD on everything that we talk about now, because there's so many players that are going to be in and out of lineups moving forward. There's so many changes moving forward. There's back-to-backs that Charlotte's going to play guys tomorrow, I'm sure. Utah's already ruled some guys out. The Clippers have already ruled out Kawhi. I mean, there's a lot going on. Wacky time in the NBA for sure.
Really is here. We'll get into it. Again, we'll go 7 games position by position. We'll go to the lineup at the end of the show. We appreciate you guys again hanging with us here all season long. SGA against Chicago, $11,000 is your top priced point guard. You got James Harden in this Orlando matchup, as you mentioned, and no Kawhi Leonard in this one with the Clippers on the second leg of a back-to-back here. We have Giddey questionable for this game. We'll see if he's able to suit up or not. John Morant returned the other day, like he didn't miss any time at all. He's got Boston, $9,100 for him. Top 4 price point guards here, Grande.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about SGA. There's a lot of question marks in Oklahoma City. Chet is questionable. Hartenstein's questionable. Jay Will is questionable. And Aaron Wiggins is already ruled out. So pretty short-handed team potentially. J Dub returned the other day. Didn't matter. SGA nuked in just the 31 minutes he needed because, that's just the best team going and, whatever. So elite spot. I don't know what version of the Bulls are going to be available. Kevin Huerter's already out. Trey Jones is already out. Josh Giddey and Lonzo Ball are both listed questionable. So who knows what's going to be available for the Bulls. But, I mean, obviously that Bulls team has been better.
Yep. If
Giddey plays, which I imagine he wants to, because the friendships that he formed in OKC, they all seem to like him quite a bit. So SGA, if you think that game can stay competitive. I know this spot for Harden is terrible. It is worth taking a look at against Orlando because there's no Kawhi. I mean, it could obviously, it's the total in this game is going to be terrible. 211.5. It's terrible. But for what it's worth, Clippers 2.5 point road favorites, second leg of a back-to-back, as we mentioned. And the big piece here is Kawhi not being there. So if you want to take a look at Harden in a low game environment and hope he nukes, you can. If Giddey plays, I mean, he was terrible in the Dallas game. There's obviously something to be said about the minutes in a close game. That kind of sucked, especially for someone who played Josh Giddey at like super high ownership over the weekend. But thought we were past the minutes. Apparently we're not, but maybe it is tied in to do with this hip.
He's been playing so many minutes lately, right?
Minutes.
Something definitely to watch for, especially now that the price is what it's at, because he has been incredible for us here. John Morant, like I said, he came back the other day, missed a couple of weeks, 31 minutes, double-double, 49 fantasy points. Boston in Memphis. Boston is just a 4.5 point road favorite. This game is a 235.5 total. So Vegas thinking this one's going to be a close competitive game. We know how good Boston can be defensively, but got to be encouraged by what Ja was able to at least put together here right out of the jump.
Yeah, the shot efficiency was terrible, but the shot volume and everything attached to it was great. So if we're going to get anything similar to that version of Ja and just Memphis offense in general, where Ja, Bane, and Jaren Jackson all kind of go crazy, then yeah, that's an interesting dynamic. So I'm definitely in on Ja at 9,100.
Next tier, Tyler Hero gets the Wizards at 88. Halliburton 86 against Sacramento. A little revenge game there. Derek White, you got Monk in that 7K tier as well.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler,
Hero?
it's Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
Miami is not like shutting it down. They're continuously playing their guys. There's already no Andrew Wiggins. There's already no Duncan Robinson. All the shot volume, the ball in Tyler Hero's hands the entire game.
Yeah.
So it's Hero. You could definitely get to Halliburton. Not surprised to see him struggle against OKC. Not surprised to see anybody struggle against OKC. So if you want to go back to the well, the Kings have been a bottom defense in the month of March. They've been just in a free fall in general. That team with no direction. So if you want to play
they changed coaches and they started winning games, like they figured it out.
Yeah, it's like that immediate like buff, right? Like
Yeah.
you get the new coach and then suddenly you're good, and then you're like, oh no, is it the water boy? Oh no, we suck again.
Yeah.
Is that the water boy meme? So that's Sacramento, and I'm sure Halliburton will be a little juiced for this one, considering they traded him instead of De'Aaron Fox. And then eventually traded Fox too. Derek White
now may have to trade Sabonis because
might have to trade Sabonis.
I'm out of here if we don't got to figure this out. So
only way I'd look at Derek White in this price is if Jalen sits, but even then, I think 78 is probably a little too expensive for my liking.
I agree. I don't mind Malik Monk on the other side of that matchup at 77.
Yeah, tournaments. The minutes have been terrible. He's actually come off the bench in back-to-back games, and the minutes have been trash. Now they've been 2 blowouts, but I absolutely do not like him coming off the bench. I know that like he's done it, and what he's saying, he's played but he hasn't ever been this price coming off the bench. We have not paid $7,700 off the bench. So
yeah, he was coming off the bench earlier this year and still playing the 30 minutes and like getting us. But like you said, the last couple of games blowouts, and the price is out there. Price also on the rise for D'Angelo Russell, up to $6,700 for him. What do we make of this price tag?
It's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, I don't really care for that either. Mid tier, anybody or one of anybody stick out to you? I mean, Drew Holiday keeps putting up some numbers. Thoughts there, up to 6K now?
Yeah, Drew is another one, probably overpriced, and only way you can really get there is if Jaylen Brown's out. I feel the same way about Peyton Pritchard, only if Jaylen Brown's out. Over both those guys, I'd play Keontae George, who has not suffered other than the Memphis game where he was just atrocious, and I think even Will Hardy was saving him from himself. Keontae George in all the other games has played really well. The minutes haven't taken a hit at all, and that's kind of been the consistent part about Utah, at least. Plus now Colin Sexton's questionable. So like if Sexton doesn't play, they've already ruled out Clarkson, they've already ruled out Markkanen, they've already ruled out Walker Kessler, John Collins. Like almost their whole starting 5 would be out. It would be Keontae George, Isaiah Collier season. I know Isaiah Collier has been pretty bad as well. But again, another guy who's just playing minutes, right? And now the price is at like a pretty comfortable place.
Yeah.
Because, he was over 6K for a bit, and we're even considering that. So it's probably the Utah guys for me. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Utah guys are a good shout against Charlotte here. Keon Ellis, not really doing much there, $5,200. KJ Simpson, they just keep going back to that well at 49.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, he started 35 minutes. They don't, unless there's something that changes. They had a bunch of guys out today. Seth Curry was out because the front leg of a back-to-back. Obviously, Mark Williams. Josh Green was out on the front leg. They played a bunch of Jeffries. Josh Okogie played today. So, I mean, I assume they'll have like a healthier team tomorrow, but like you can still get to Simpson. I don't love the price, but if he's gonna play 35 minutes, then in the best matchup possible, then I'm in.
Okay. Any other value here for you that you'd be looking to play?
Oh man, Davion's price is just getting so
up to 48 now. The minutes keep being there, and the production's not too shabby.
I will say the minutes in the matchup make it fine, right? Like it's fine. Man, did we mention? I should probably circle back to Dinwiddie because Brandon Williams is officially out of games.
Okay.
All right. He can be signed on April 10th if he is the player that they decide to sign. He can be signed on April 10th.
Okay.
Or they can wait until April 12th and sign 2.
So with like 4 days left in the season, regular season.
Yeah, I mean, if they make the play-in, then they need him because you're not eligible to play if you're not on the team. Like you can't play in the play-in, so we'll see. But yeah, Brandon Williams and now they're down both Brandon Williams and who's the other one? Kessler Edwards. They're both gone. So I'll just circle back to Dinwiddie and just give him a shout. Cole Anthony is questionable. So we have that to monitor. If Cole Anthony does not play, we are definitely going to play some Anthony Black. Didn't have the best game in Sacramento. That was his first bad game in 2 weeks. And the minutes were good again. So I would play him again. Caruso is a guy that like you could click. I think 19 minutes weren't great, but I do think it's worth mentioning. Like they're potentially down a lot of guys.
So they're without everybody. There's obviously some interest there, right?
Yep, for sure.
Right. Anybody else?
I'm sure
there will be. Sure there will be.
Possibly at some point.
All right, shooting guard. Wagner is your top price guy. Bain at 85. Kobe White's $8,300. The questionable Jaylen Brown at 82. Zach LaVine $8,000. Top 5.
Tough spot for Wagner. Bain, the price is. I don't know if I can get there with Ja, but if you want to, you can. It's obviously going to be if Memphis wants to stay in this game, they're going to have to score a lot of points.
It's a 4.5 point spread, 235 total. For that to be the final, there's got to be points somewhere.
Got to be points. Same thing for Kobe White. Like, I have no idea how this game would stay competitive, but we've seen crazier things happen, and this Bulls team seems to have some magic behind them right now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's going to be in the torture chamber this entire game, right?
He's going to be in the torture chamber, and if Josh Giddey, especially if Giddey's not available, just Kobe White's dead. He's gone. he exit stage left. Yeah. He has no chance to play in this game. But like if it's just Kobe White team to himself, he does have like I think a 44 against Orlando of all teams earlier March. So like,
and as we know, you can never count out Kobe White.
Never.
Absolutely can never
count Kobe White out. He has had some monster quarters and halves lately that have been out of nowhere. So Kobe White sure will. So I mean, look, if you that game, like you said, the Boston Memphis game, 236 or 235.5 on my 236 where I'm looking, 239 now in Chicago OKC. 15-point spread, a little different than the 4.5 that you were talking about, but 239 points nevertheless. And then Jaylen, this to me, Jaylen Brown looks like a guy right now that is just going to play limited minutes and is just going to be on the court enough to where he is not rusty going into the playoffs. That's what it looks like to me for Jaylen.
Yeah.
So even if he plays, I basically have no interest at like Doesn't look like he's going to play big minutes.
Yeah.
I don't like the price. I'm out.
I've said this a few times now. I'm still surprised that Boston is as aggressive as they are with these. I get there's like enough games left for them to get the first seed still.
Yep.
Like they're 4 games behind Cleveland. I understand that.
Yeah,
but
another
like,
loss, right? Another loss by Cleveland.
Right. But like, you had the Tatum ankle scare. Like, you got a bigger picture, here, but they're going. They're
Who's
going
Wolverine? Who had the Wolverine blood? Was that Russell Wilson? Russell Wilson drinks Wolverine blood, or he has Wolverine blood, or something. I think Jason Tatum, based on that ankle injury, Jason Tatum must have that. Must drink from the same fountain that Russell Wilson does.
He wanted to play that game, and they sat him out. So it wasn't Tatum that didn't want to go on that one. And then we watched Porzingis cook. So
yes.
You lose one guy, and the other guy steps up and goes for 30 and 10. So, so you got that whole group there again. Levine's AK. We talked Dinwiddie, Norm against Orlando. If there's no Kawhi, I mean, it's going to be just secondary offense for Norm at 65. You can play Keontae here.
Finally got the minutes from Norm, by the way. He had not been playing a lot since returning from injury. I guess maybe. I don't think he would sit
back to back though.
Hamstring, second leg. I mean, they need to win. They lost on Sunday. Like they need to stay out of the 6th seed. Or they need to stay out of the play-in. I think they're back in the play-in because Golden State won, and so just something to monitor.
Again, there's like Keon, Nembhard's down here. Dort, if there's nobody, like Dort's not a terrible option there at 5K. Playing any of these Washington guys?
Definitely not Poole. Can't trust Carrington. AJ Johnson went from 20 minutes of literally nothing to 42 minutes of like 20 actual. I think that's rookies in a nutshell, right? Like he's a rookie who hadn't played all year until he got traded. So I'd be okay with it. I would probably play Nick Smith again. He was really good on Sunday. I guess it depends on who's in and who's out for Charlotte.
Like Seth Curry starting in this game. Do you play Seth Curry?
Yeah, maybe.
Isaiah Joe, 41.
Yeah, they started Pelle Larsson the other day. He's played 30 minutes. He was really good fantasy-wise. Obviously, 6 stocks aided, but you remove those 6 stocks, 14, 6, and 4 is still really good for $4,000.
They stopped Burks the other day too.
Yeah. They did, yes. They've been starting Alec Burks, but he's getting the short end of the Davion stick. So,
okay,
that's probably it.
All right, small forward then. Tatum's 10-2. Good price tag for Tatum in that game. That's my place here,
especially if JB sits.
Yep. Jalen Williams, as you mentioned, $8,400, not on the injury report. So.
Yeah, he's played back-to-back games. He's looked good, but they just blow everybody out, dude.
Yeah. Yep. $8,400, a little pricey if they're not going to get those full minutes there.
Yep.
DDR and PJ Washington are both $8,100. Any real standout plays for you, 8K and above?
I think the first player, truthfully, that I even care to mention is Norm, and we've already talked about him. I think this is. I would fully expect Jason Tatum to carry a lot of ownership on this slate.
Sure.
Because
guys up over 10K.
This position stinks. Like it's a bad position. You talk Dort, the Washington Wizards, like we never know when Champagne's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
We never know when Zaire is going to play because his minutes are turning in the opposite direction. I think Nesmith should feel a little safer than he does with Matherin out. He doesn't, but the last 2 games they've been in blowouts. So does Aaron Nesmith get 30 minutes? No Benedict Matherin? I think there's a chance. Sure. I think some of the games prior Matherin played, then the 2 games recently, blowouts. Kobe Jones has been someone I've played a bunch lately. Played him again in the Brooklyn game off the bench. I don't love $4,500, but I do love the fact that the minutes, 27, 28, 30, 29, super productive player. I mean, the steals have been great. The rebounds have been great. The scoring is ticking upwards. So I would play Kobe Jones.
Sure.
I guess something to monitor. What does Bogdan Bogdanovich's minutes look like with no Kawhi? Last 2 games, 24 and 30. Anytime he makes shots, he's just a super productive player. So Bogdanovich, I think, would look pretty good. Another Washington guy that is playing minutes, Jalen Martin. There's a low floor, but 30 minutes in 2 of the last 3. You could go there. Pelle Larson. Sensabaugh's back to playing like close to mid-20s minutes. And in mid-20s minutes with Bryce Sensabaugh, he does have, like, at this price, he just shoots so much.
If he hits his shots, it's been like that all season long, right? Like he's been in spots where he's had opportunities, missed shots, but he was up over, he was like 4,500 then. Now he's back down to 39. Yep. Only needs to hit a couple shots to hit the value, so.
I will say a name that I played the other day, and you will be shocked that I did this.
Okay.
Haywood Highsmith at $3,900. I clicked comfortably. Actively wanted to click Haywood Highsmith. I went out of my way.
The minutes are what they are. Now he's got a matchup against Washington, which is basically the matchup he's had the last 2 games, Atlanta and Philly. So
last 2 games that we've had this matchup. No Duncan Robinson again, no Andrew Wiggins again. Like, if those 2 players are just not going to play, and he's going to play 30+ minutes off the bench, then I know
another guy with like a crazy low floor because he's not.
Awful.
If he doesn't go 42 and 60% from 3 in those games, you're looking at 15 fantasy points.
Absolute horrendous floor. One of the worst floors you'll ever see. He might not shoot tomorrow.
Right.
He could potentially not shoot.
He could give you this game. 30 minutes, 2 shots.
He
very live.
It's
very live.
You're super live for that. But like, I do think, with who they're down, like no Duncan.
Yeah.
Jaquez, we've already talked about what Jaquez is doing on the side. He's not playing.
Who Jaquez is doing on the side?
Or who? Yeah, who? Sorry, who? So he's not playing. So I just think like there are minutes for Haywood Highsmith, and a lot of them. So
it's just incredibly gross to see a man 5, 4, 5
Agreed.
shot attempts. Like just
look, those two players in Bryce Sensabaugh and Haywood Highsmith at the same exact price are the polar opposite player. Yeah. But one of them is going to play 30 minutes, and the other may play 20, and we just don't know. So
doesn't feel good. I'd rather just play Isaiah Joe for $200 more, and just
I mean, especially if they're down a bunch of guys, and if this game gets in a hand, he's playing a bunch of minutes too.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, minutes can be king, but man, you'd think you'd want him to do something more, man.
I'm not disagreeing with you, by the way. I'm not.
No, I know. I want to just sort of emphasize that, if you put him in your lineup, just know that he may go out there and give you the Golden State game where he took 2 shots, grabbed 6 boards in 30 minutes. So, again, Tatum's here, power forward. You have Banchero at 97. I know they have some good defensive players, but Paolo is Paolo.
But there's no Kawhi.
Yeah, no Kawhi. That's true. Anthony Davis, 30 minutes, 9,600. He can do a lot of damage in 30 minutes here.
Yeah, there's clearly just rust, right? Like it's just he has missed a ton of time. Yeah. Even like before the Houston game where he was dominating, like there was a lot of time missed. So
23 and 19 shots though are super awesome.
All 3 games he's played.
Dude,
what do you think Nico's thinking? They're just winning all these games. Like I told you.
I told you guys. I was right. I would have a hard time not playing Anthony Davis here. $9,600 for a guy like AD. The usage rate for him is insane. They're Brooklyn's an easy matchup.
Dude, Dallas is the 9 seed.
I know. They've had no players. They've had rotating 10-day contract guys. Taylor Jenkins got fired for that,
Taylor Jenkins got fired with nobody healthy, and they're the 5 seed. Yeah, they're not even in the play-in game.
Yeah, and Dallas is out here just limping along, rotating Kessler Edwards at the 5 for 2 weeks. But AD's back. Like I said, I really like that. You also have Bridges here. I know it's a back-to-back, but Utah's a bad matchup. Mm-hmm. Could be a spot for Bridges to kind of excel.
Yeah, I'll say this. My one worry, and they did it again today.
The eliminating him.
They got the Toronto playbook out.
Yeah, started played him.
He played 22 minutes. Yeah, they got the Toronto playbook going.
He cooked in 22 minutes though. 26.
No, yes, but like we're paying premium price. No thanks.
Yeah, that's fair. Bam is in a smash spot. It's gonna be him or Khalil Ware, right? Both of them got really good matchups here against Washington. So
it's gonna be him or Khalil Ware. Yep.
One of those two guys are gonna have a big night. Granted, I guess if Tyler Hero goes for 40 actual, difficult for anybody else to get some food, but great matchup for either big here against Washington.
Yep.
Triple J is 79. He's gonna have his hands full in this game, whether it's Tatum or Porzingis. Gonna have defensively, gonna maybe have to try to avoid some fouls, but
he had 27, 9, and 7 stocks, which is such a Jaren Jackson game that we just haven't gotten lately. So sad.
When did that game get played? When was that game? Boston. It was December 7th in Boston. 11 of 9 on the floor.
I miss those. I miss the 7 stock Jaren Jackson games.
Yeah,
those were the times. Those were the times.
Siakam 76. Is Hartenstein questionable too? Did
yes.
He leave an injury?
Yes. He left with an injury. They're all questionable. Chet, Hartenstein, and Jay Will. All 3 bigs.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens there. Cam Johnson questionable for this game.
Yep.
Playing.
They've also already ruled out Clowney, Sharp. I think that's it. I think just Clowney and Sharp. So they could be really shorthanded in their front court.
They don't touch Filipowski though that much here. He's been cooked.
Yes, and no, he is top shelf play. 6,500. No Walker Kessler. Minutes don't go away. Knock on wood. It's Will Hardy. But yeah, he is a top tier play. Elite fantasy player.
Easy click. It feels like Keegan's playing minutes. Aldama and Bain got into a fight. Did you see that one on the bench?
I did see that. I feel like one doesn't mean you just don't mess with that guy. That guy seems like he's gonna
strong arms.
Yeah, he's muscle hamster, Doug Martin. But like, I feel like that happens a lot, and I always talk to you about that. I feel like sometimes it's overblown, sometimes it's not. Doesn't mean literally calling someone out for, are you gonna effing defend somebody? Feels.
Well, remember that game where I had Santi in my lineup? He came off the floor because he was getting absolutely worked defense. Yeah. Like it was Utah, I think, right? Like they were just scoring on him, on that Will or whatever game that was, and we had the big second half, thankfully, to like come through. But yeah, it's Utah game, but they were he was getting worked out there for a little bit. So you got Watford then at 54, your boy.
Yeah, dude, he's competing with some other. We're gonna talk about, so he could start. Yeah. There's a chance.
So yeah, enough guys are out that there should be secure minutes for him.
Don't you worry.
We're gonna get Timmy. I know. We're gonna talk about.
Oh, buddy, old 50 burger the other day. And
you know how good he was in college, do you?
He's
like the Luka
Garza,
right?
Yeah, Gonzaga, right?
Yeah. Remember when like Luka Garza, I was telling you, is like the college player of the year, but he doesn't get off the bench for Minnesota. That's basically what Timmy is here. He's just like this beast of a center for Gonzaga, but was never going to translate until end of season NBA.
End of season. Well, he got the 50 piece in the G League and then got the call.
Yeah. Oh no, I saw all the highlights. I was shaking my head. I'm like, this guy's actually coaching.
50 bomb, dude.
I know. 50 bomb. Yeah, I saw. And then they played the South Park Timmy sound clip after he scores.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. You didn't know that? If you watch the highlights, the arena funny. When he scores, they do the South Park Timmy. So.
That's funny.
All right, what else we got then at power forward here?
Buzelis coming off a career game. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think what the good thing about this is, if they rule a bunch of players out, and even in a blowout, we know he'll play. He's not going to come off. I mean, He played in a 30-point win, 30 minutes the other day, 38 minutes, absolutely cooked. Dude, the best thing the Bulls could have done is at least trade Zach LaVine. They should have traded Vooch, but man, just letting their young players develop has been amazing. So Buzelis at 48, I think is fine. Obi Toppin's going to get like low 20s minutes. You could play him. Hey, dude, Kenrich Williams season could be right in front of our faces again.
True.
If they roll out all the bigs. Kenrich Williams has been pretty productive when he gets extended. So Kenrich at 39, he'll also be really chalky.
Yeah.
Derek Jones probably starts for the Clippers here.
Didn't we play Salon the other day?
Yeah, he also played a ton of minutes again. On
29
Sunday.
tonight. Didn't shoot at all. 1 of 7, 0 of 6 from 3, but 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Pretty good if you give you those with some actually hitting some buckets.
He was also free again. Dude, he's playing minutes. They're doing it again, right? They're another team. Nurkic, Bridges, Okogie, all veteran players. 11, 22, 22 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, Taj Gibson, 15 minutes. That's kind of an exception to the rule, but
getting the Udonis Haslem run there.
Yeah, getting the Haslem run. Yeah, at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if they just don't play Bridges in this game because it's the second leg, like Salon's super interesting there.
For what it's worth, Salon was listed questionable going into the Sunday slate. He obviously played, but that's something to monitor. Him and Okogie. Like I expect Okogie probably sits. There's no reason to play Josh Okogie on the second leg with back-to-back. And he's only been back for a few games anyway from injury.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if they were to sit Okogie and Salon, or Nurkic sits here, and then, like, you have Mark Williams, Moussa Diabate as, like, your center rotation, that wouldn't be surprising either. But just monitor the Salon status, obviously.
Yep. Center. Again, AD is up here. Sabonis, Bam, all 3 can be played. I like Porzingis. Like, I think they're getting this dude just kind of ready to go. Yep. If this ends up being a competitive game, dude, Memphis, they're not going to be able to run Edey out there against Porzingis in this game. So
no, the Triple J at the 5 all day.
Yeah, so that's gonna be an interesting rotation that they go with there. Saw Cornette double off the bench with Horford not playing yesterday.
So funny.
So yeah, that
he was a castaway. Like that guy is literally a castaway, and then just like
yeah.
I remember we were doing this show, and you couldn't stop saying murder Cornet.
Murder Cornet.
But you were just doing it for fun. You weren't doing it because you thought it was like a meaningful pickup. You just liked the Nick because it happened like the middle of a year, right? Yeah. Like just like randomly, and now he's like probably what every team wishes they had as a backup center.
Just a third big that they could kind of rely on a little bit. Yeah,
dude, that guy is great. There's like some plus minus stuff. There's some plus minus stuff where he isn't like all of like these elite Celtic like his like defensive rate. I mean, everything is great for him.
I told you that like I only remember him from like his Bulls like Knicks days. I was like, oh, he's three. He like, dude, he hasn't taken a 3 in like 4 years. Like what? Celtics got him and they're just like, you stand here in the paint, you don't move. Like you're just gonna play around the rim. Like
analytics are amazing, huh? They just transform a whole player.
Luke, you're a 26% 3-point shooter. Let's not do that anymore. Story for another time. We have all right. So any of those guys they're all in play. You could play any one of them. They're all in great spots. Again, I am still pretty partial to Anthony Davis. I like Kristaps Porzingis here as well. Sar keeps on looking really good. $6,700 for him. Do you think we get it, or do we think? You think they mess with his minutes again, or do they let him play? What do you think?
Well, considering I felt this pain the other day, like they don't need to do this. They will lose if they just play them.
Yep.
He didn't play the final 15 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. It's like, I get it that he has a ceiling and stuff.
Yeah.
But if there's a chance that he doesn't play the final 15 minutes, I will just say, thanks, Alex. Thanks for the good memories that we had for your rookie year. I will just play Kyle Filipowski instead.
That's fair.
I don't want to be bothered by it. And then also, yeah, I mean, if he scores 45 fantasy points in 23 minutes, good for you, dude. You got a good future ahead of you. Like,
it's not a good matchup for him, but I just want to call out just to the wild hypocrisy of Washington just icing these guys randomly. Like
they don't need to. They stink. Like, they've lost all these games this year with all of them playing. They don't need to rest them.
I actually forgot we got this update.
Yes,
that
Lively and Gafford
are questionable.
Bound to play.
Probably, right? I won't play them, but obviously interesting that they're getting their front court back here.
I mean, they're going to play extremely limited minutes.
Yes.
It has been a long time since they've both played. They're going to be extremely limited.
They probably just split the minutes, right? Three-way chop at them, Powell,
Kai Jones,
Gafford, like
Kai Jones.
Yeah, something like that.
They probably do, what's 48 divided by 3?
Jeez, I don't know.
18, 17?
Something like that. 48 divided by 3, like, carry it 16?
16?
Yeah, 16.
So all three of them just play 16 minutes?
Yeah.
Because they want to play 80 at the 4, or
they flat out said Anthony Davis is a power forward. They're not playing him at the 5. So
my expectation, I just do think like they would probably want to close games with him at the 5, but we'll see. But I guess it just depends on what's going on in the game.
Yeah. You have Khalil Ware, as I mentioned, could be the guy.
Dude, he looks great when he's extended. We say this every time. He looks great when he's extended.
Yep.
He is such a good fantasy player, but it's just random times he's not. But to be fair,
he also didn't come in like the end of that game that one time that I needed him to come back.
The Atlanta game. And then Wiggins doesn't play the next game.
Yeah.
Duncan Robinson doesn't play the next game, and he plays 31 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Something to maybe monitor where he's not there's no replacement. So like, I guess we got to play this really talented rookie.
Probably true. All right. Rest of this group here.
Claxton looks like Nick Claxton. I don't know how else to describe it. Just literally looks
Dallas, Toronto.
Yep.
Blowout loss there against Clippers.
Like literally and figuratively looks like Nick Claxton.
Yeah.
Nothing else like in this tier looks.
Let's go to Drew Timme.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I don't think like there's going to be like. I would assume there's probably not enough minutes with Claxton back, but if you think that this game's not competitive, or if he's splitting time, or if they even decide like, let's play him at power forward for no reason at all, then I think there's a case for Drew Timme. The only problem is this is an Island 8:30 game. Every other game will be locked.
Yeah.
And you probably need to know if Drew Timme's in the starting lineup or not.
I'd agree. Do we get Sheway? Everybody's out? Backup minutes?
Yeah, probably. Because you can also play Filipowski at the 4. That's also what they've been doing. So I think that there's a pretty good path. He started last game, I think. Yeah, he started. So if he's going to start, I mean,
always been a good fantasy point per minute guy.
He's dude. He looks like a robot when he's running to the glass. He is a machine, a war machine going to the offensive and defensive glass. Elite rebounder, like super elite rebounder.
Yeah, for sure.
He almost looks like I remember watching Neemias Queta last year, thinking he didn't know what he was doing half the time. Like Neemias Queta always getting like turned around and like he's like standing the wrong way. That's kind of what Sheboy looks like. He looks like he's like not there half the time until a shot goes up, and then that man is a freaking magnet to the glass.
Agreed. Again, obviously, if Jay Will was the play and everybody else gets ruled out, you'd go there.
He
triple double, like automatic.
highest roster player of the slate, even with Shea and J-Dub, because they'll just run it through him. Like they'll just run the offense right through Jay Will.
Your guess is as good as mine, but obviously Vukovic would be a play.
I think he played last game. I don't know if it's like alternating, but
well, it's the back-to-back stuff. So
guy's obviously super elite per minute, but I don't know.
Okay, let's build a lineup here.
Let's build the lineup.
Okay. Do we want Filipowski at the center spot or the power forward spot?
Yeah. I think that's probably the best bet at center. I think there was like Salon, Buzelis
for value down here.
Yeah, Aldama still played 26 minutes. I think those because like we're gonna probably get up to Tatum at small forward just with how bad that position was.
Mm-hmm.
It sucked.
We had what? Do we have value like Cason Wallace or Black or?
I mean,
Simpson
or Utah, or Utah. I don't know how much Utah we want to play, but we're probably 2 is probably the max. We probably don't want to.
I mean, I'm good with Keontae. That's fine.
Yeah,
Keontae and Filipowski.
Yeah, I think Keontae looks good.
Okay. $5,400.
I mean, I assume Miami starts Palo Larson again. No Wiggins. He had 40 fantasy points. No Duncan Robinson.
Okay, power forward. Can we get Anthony Davis? Be $4,500. Do we have another?
Yeah, we could do that.
What's our cheapest play?
Highsmith / Sensabaugh or Salon. Salon at 38.
I'll do a Salon. I don't want like 3 Utah.
That's why I immediately pivoted away from
48.50. Imagine Nick Smith. Davion. I could play Davion there. Dort, Collier.
You could also
You
could also do a $3,900 Chris Dunn if you wanted to. 29 minutes in 2 of 3, and now there's no Kawhi. He scored over 20 fantasy points in 3 straight. Doesn't look great, doesn't look terrible, but no.
I mean, we're stacking a Tatum AD combo, so you're gonna get a little value there somewhere.
And plus, like, what we know is this lineup that we're building is
gonna change
because we don't know what Chicago's gonna do. We don't know what OKC is gonna do.
Box Aldama. All right, George, Larson, Tatum, Davis, Filipowski, Dunn, Salon, Aldama. Give us $200 left over to build but again, just our first look preview lineup. We'll be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time with some updated news and notes for everybody. Justin Carlucci will be on the playbook for this Monday slate, and Grande will be on the playbook for this Monday slate. So we'll have that for you guys at 5 o'clock. Until then, we'll see you later.